Welcome back to the PyTorch cooking show. Let's now learn how we can cook up some custom data sets. I'm going to jump into Google Colab, so colab.research.google.com. And I'm going to click New Notebook. Just going to make sure this is zoomed in enough for the video. Wonderful. So I'm going to rename this notebook 04, because we're up to section 04. And I'm going to call it PyTorch Custom Datasets _ video, because this is going to be one of the video notebooks, which has all the code that I write during the videos, which is of course contained within the video notebooks folder on the PyTorch Deep Learning repo. So if you'd like the resource or the ground truth notebook for this, I'm going to just put a heading here, 04 PyTorch Custom Datasets video notebook. Make that bigger. And then we'll put resources. So book version of the course materials for 04. We'll go there. And then we'll go ground truth version of notebook 04, which will be the reference notebook that we're going to use for this section. Come into PyTorch custom datasets, and then we can put that in there. Wonderful. So the whole synopsis of this custom dataset section is we've used some datasets with PyTorch before, but how do you get your own data into PyTorch? Because that's what you want to start working on, right? You want to start working on problems of your own. You want to come into any sort of data that you've never worked with before, and you want to figure out how do you get that into PyTorch. So one of the ways to do so is via custom datasets. And then I want to put a note down here. So we're going to go 0, section 0 is going to be importing PyTorch and setting up device agnostic code. But I want to just stress here that domain libraries. So just to reiterate what we went through last video, so depending on what you're working on, whether it be vision, text, audio, recommendation, something like that, you'll want to look into each of the PyTorch domain libraries for existing data loader or data loading functions and customizable data loading functions. So just keep that in mind. We've seen some of them. So if we go Torch Vision, which is what we're going to be looking at, Torch Vision, we've got data sets and we've got documentation. We've got data sets for each of the other domain libraries here as well. So if you're working on a text problem, it's going to be a similar set of steps to what we're going to do with our vision problem when we build Food Vision Mini. What we have is a data set that exists somewhere, and what we want to do is bring that into PyTorch so we can build a model with it. So let's import the libraries that we need. So we're going to import Torch, and we'll probably import NN. So we'll import that from PyTorch, and I'm just going to check the Torch version here. So note, we need PyTorch 1.10.0 plus is required for this course. So if you're using Google Colab at a later date, you may have a later version of PyTorch. I'm just going to show you what version I'm using. Just going to let this load. We're going to get this ready. We're going to also set up device agnostic code right from the start this time, because this is best practice with PyTorch. So this way, if we have a CUDA device available, our model is going to use that CUDA device, and our data is going to be on that CUDA device. So there we go, wonderful. We've got PyTorch 1.10.0 plus CUDA 1.1.1, maybe that's 11.1. So let's check if CUDA dot is available. Now, I'm using Google Colab. We haven't set up a GPU yet, so it probably won't be available yet. Let's have a look. Wonderful. So because we've started a new Colab instance, it's going to use the CPU by default. So how do we change that? We come up to runtime, change runtime type. I'm going to go hardware accelerator, GPU. We've done this a few times now. I am paying for Google Colab Pro. So one of the benefits of that is that Google Colab reserves faster GPUs for you. You do not need Google Colab Pro, as I've said, to complete this course. You can use the free version, but just recall Google Colab Pro tends to give you a better GPU just because GPUs aren't free. Wonderful. So now we've got access to a GPU. CUDA, what GPU do I have? NVIDIA SMI, I have a Tesla P100 with 16 gigabytes of memory, which will be more than enough for the problem that we're going to work on in this video. So, I believe that's enough to cover for the first coding video. In the next section, we are working with custom datasets after all. In the next video, let's get some data, hey?